Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to a new video. In this video I will go through all the basics and all the functions of CoinMarketManager. As you know, I'm partnered up with them and I thought it would be convenient to go through all the basics and how I use it and all the little functions they got implemented into their service. So first off, you won't see any dollar amounts here. I'm on my challenge account. You can see here the road to 100x. If you don't know, I will link the thread down below. But I did flip off like the overview of the total dollar amount, so you won't see any real P&L values up here because I hidden them, just so you know. So basically what we see here is the equity graph of all the trades I've done on this account. To be honest, it's quite a lot since, as you can see down here, it's the 12th of July when I started the account, when I posted the thread. These are quite a lot of trades, to be fair. This is mainly due to a lot of these things where I enter real quick and then I change my mind, or I enter like a group of coins that are similar, and maybe an hour later I decide to just close them off, stuff like that, or little scalps. So it's convenient that you can see your total trades, but also in my case, I want to trade as little as possible. So seeing this in hindsight for me is already like, okay, maybe I should be a bit more conservative. Obviously, a lot of these trades are just like break-even trades, or they take like minutes, whatever. But this is still useful for me personally. And then obviously we have the win rate here. I wouldn't care about these too much, value these too much, because you can have like a win rate of 10% and still be profitable, as long as your winners are much bigger than your losers. So it's nice to see, but I wouldn't value these too much personally. And then we have the average trade duration. This is mostly moved up a lot due to me just holding on to a few positions, or sometimes for convenience when I, let's say I'm swing long Bitcoin, for example. At some point I may want to get out. I tend to just close out almost all, but a little bit of the position. So if I want to get in, it's still got my stop loss and my target and stuff like that in place. It's just a little bit more convenient if I plan on re-entering the same position at some point. So that's why some of these positions that may have been closed last week have been going on for like a few weeks, which do move up my trade duration. And then up here we can see the long and the short ratio. For me, 62% of my trades being short is rather high. I'm quite glad that this is the case, because otherwise I think I would have been down during this last month, but as the shorts have been the biggest winners for me. But overall, I think as hopefully the cycle goes on, the bull run really comes back, I do think this is gonna transition to like 75-25. As usually longs do fit me a bit better, and in the long run these are more profitable. But it's still nice to really see that happen, or like see the overview of all these trades down here. Then a really interesting tab I really am enjoying. I did play a lot of poker casually in the past, and I think poker players are often like really into these kind of graphs. So what this shows is basically every time at these the red line, the rolling peak, it's basically my max balance for the account. So in this case I had a few wins here, and then you can see some losses happened here. So you can see the number of trades and how long I've been underwater compared to my peak balance. And then every time you hit a new high, the red line goes with it, or orange, whatever. And you can see how long you've been trading at or around your all-time high account balance. So don't look at this like too much. I think what's nice here is that you can really see how far you're off from your highs, but this shouldn't be something that tilts you or makes you try to get back to your highs as soon as possible. But it is convenient to see, like, let's say you have all these huge peaks and then huge drops, and it's just very choppy. Like, ideally, if you want to have like a comfy run or slowly building up your account, this thing is just kind of similar to how it is so far for me. And this causes the least stress, I'd say. So obviously you're never always going to sit at your all-time highs, but you have these dips below, then you get a nice win or a few wins again, and you hopefully make a new high and go on from there. But please don't try to get a new all-time high balance every day. This is something I've done in the past, and it's a very good way to wreck your account, because if you don't want to or you can't end on a losing day or whatever, you're just going to end up risking more while you're in already a losing streak, and then eventually this thing is just going to crater back down and you're going to lose all your gains. So on to the next. I really like this one. Obviously a lot of is blurred out here because of what I said, like the dollar amounts are all hidden for now, but let's get right into like the top part of it. So these ones we already did. What shows here is your total gain loss, so speaks for itself. And then the trade expectancy is basically, well, it says here, well, we hover over it. So it's your average win divided by your average loss. Obviously 2.8 is crazy here. This is a new account, as you all know, and I've been going degen at the start of this, so the wins were pretty huge at the start, and from there on out I've been kind of just averaging down and taking regular risks. That was part of the challenge, so that does make this number a bit high for now. Don't really expect this, because this means for every trade I take, the average win is like 3x my loss or so, which is not realistic in the long run. So this will even back out, and I think even if you're at like, let's say 1.1 and you're taking 100 trades a month or something, that could still really rack up some nice profits. So thought I should just explain that for a bit. Then we have the average daily gain, which is just your total gain and then divided by the amount of trading days on this account. I don't really like these a lot, but what's good to see is, I think, is how many of your longs and shorts you're winning. So this really shows I do take more shorts during this time period, but my win rate on them is also a bit lower. So what you can also then see is your total win per trade on longs and your total win per trade on shorts. And figuring or like looking at all that stuff can really make you figure out where maybe there's some leaks or weaknesses in your trading game, or where you really excel at. I mean, there's plenty of insanely good traders that are like, okay, well, this works for me. Like, I'm only longing this kind of sweep, for example, and this is very profitable for me. And sure, their account is going up because of that. But maybe in the meantime, they're also taking some kind of short position, which is in the long term not even profitable for them. So even though their account is going up, they're still losing a lot of money where they really don't have to. So they either have to improve on the weaker part or just accept it and say, okay, I'm just going to stick with what works for me, and then only do that from there on out, which is obviously really hard, and you have to really analyze your stats and your trades to be able to understand it. And then the next step is to have the discipline to really also adapt it and change your actual trading plan or setup. So with all that, like a service like this is really useful, and it's kind of needed to really get insights into all this stuff. And of course, you can also just journal, which is another added feature. I don't do this right now, but I think it can be really convenient. But even just writing it down in like a notebook in hindsight, like, okay, I did this trade, was the win, was the loss, what could I have done better? There's plenty of ways to do this. You can do it right here in CoinMarketManager, and which is convenient because you got the trades already in there automatically because of the API. But like I said, you can also just write it down, whatever works for you, and then just see where your weaknesses are and where you really excel at, and then adapt that into your trading schedule or your trading routine. And then down here, I think this is really fun. I'm not sure if it's useful per se. I mean, I think it can be for a few people. This really shows when you open, or like you can choose like when you open or when you close a trade. So I think opening makes more sense. So in this case, it shows where the profits came from the time when I opened my trade. So in this case, most of my profits have come from trades I opened between 6 and 12 my time zone. So that makes sense because in my time zone, which is Europe, the market, like the stock market, opens at like 15:30. So it makes sense that most of the action comes after that. So that's like right in the evening for me, and that's also why probably most of my profits have come from here, because most of my trades have opened in general on that day. And then apparently Wednesday has been a good day for me, but this can also still, because my sample size isn't that huge, can obviously be influenced by one or two big trades. So all this stuff, I think it's nice, but it will become way more nice once you have done like 1,000 trades or maybe 10,000 trades a year from now, depending on how active you are. Obviously, some people maybe do one trade a month, which is totally fine. But yeah, I think all this can really add to your trading game. And I use it a lot, especially once the account gets older and I get more insights into my trading. What I mostly like, or like mostly use, of course, is just the equity curve and see how I'm doing. Also realize like, okay, if this is trending down, like obviously this down here is nothing compared to what we came from. But if this were to trend down like way down here, you will be aware, but it just gives you that extra insight. Okay, I am in a pretty big downswing. Do I have to adapt? Am I doing the right things still? Am I losing this money because the market has changed, or has my system stopped working, stuff like that. So, and obviously this is just pretty to look at, which you all know. This is the number one thing people share, but I think a lot of these other things, like the smaller ones, are really underrated, and especially the drawdown, I really like, because it shows you even here, like sure, I haven't gone that deep from the drawdown. It was 10% of the account. I mean, it's kind of big, but on a new account, it's doable. But then it shows you just how many trades it takes to get back there, which is still, it can take quite a long time. So especially if you bust like half your account in a day, then you have to realize how long it can take to get that back. Obviously, if you go degen, it can be back like the next day or whatever. But I think it's good to just have this under control, get a consistent win rate and consistent grind up, and then just do your thing, which is also by far the least stressful, and which also then makes you make a lot less mistakes, because if you're really stressed out or you're getting emotional, it's going to be difficult to get your shit back together and start winning again. So I really think all this stuff does has its added value, and you have to see what works for you, and really adapt whatever you think is useful, and then go from there. So if you like seeing all this stuff, or like all this stuff, you can register. The link is down below. There's a 2-week trial. From there on out, you can see whether you like it and want to continue or not. Well, with that being said, I hope this little tutorial or like guide how I use the CoinMarketManager software was useful for you. So thank you very much to CoinMarketManager. I hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the link below. I'll also post a thread of my 100x challenge below. And have a nice day, and see you guys later. Bye bye.